The one-time king of crypto has been sentenced to 25 years in prison as a result of committing one of the largest financial frauds in U.S. history. FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried was convicted on 7 counts of fraud and conspiracy. Will Denslow has more from outside the Manhattan courthouse.
Ahead of the sentencing, Sam Bankman-Fried acknowledged that he'd made a lot of bad decisions, and the collapse of his FTX cryptocurrency exchange still haunts him every day. But he stopped short of a direct apology, maintaining that customers who lost more than $8 billion in FTX's collapse could have been paid back. Judge Lewis Kaplan said that argument was misleading, adding that Bankman-Fried never said a word of remorse for the commission of terrible crimes. The 32-year-old was convicted back in November of using more than $11 billion of cash from FTX customers, investors and lenders to help prop up his hedge fund, Alameda Research. During court proceedings, one of FTX's customers said he'd lost more than $2 million and lives the nightmare every day. Bankman-Fried's defense called for a prison term of no more than 6.5 years behind bars, saying at the sentencing hearing that he was not a ruthless financial serial killer. Prosecutors accused him of being a megalomaniac that orchestrated one of the largest financial frauds in history. They called for him to face up to 50 years behind bars. They argued that he'd likely seek to commit fraud again. The judge has called for SBF, as he's known, to serve his time at a medium security prison, arguing that he posed no threat of violence and that his fame and autism would make him vulnerable in a maximum security facility. William Denslow, CGTN, New York.
And for more on the sentencing and the potential precedent it sets, I'm now joined by Jiaying Jiang. She is an assistant professor of law at the University of Florida. Thank you so much for joining us, Professor. I just want to get your reaction, first of all, to the sentencing. 25 years. Prosecutors wanted up to 50 years. And, it seems that the judge said Bankman-Fried showed very little remorse.
Well, thanks for having me. I think this charge, 25 years is reasonable. As you just said, this is one of the biggest financial fraud in history. More than $8 billion of customer funds went missing, and that impacts millions of people. If you look at the scale of the crime, it's quite unprecedented. And, theoretically speaking, if you add up all those 7 counts he was charged, the sentence could be 110 years. Federal prosecutor suggests 50 years, and now he got 25. I think that's quite reasonable. The good news here is if he behaves very well in prison, he can serve as little as 13, 14 years. Another reason I say it's reasonable is if you compare this case with the Sucro case. By the way, Sucro is a website where you can buy illegal stuff. Buy and sell illegal stuff. The founder of Sucro was sentenced to life in prison. If you look at the scale, that case, fewer people were impacted. Around 200,000 people were impacted. Therefore, I say, well, it's quite reasonable.
So you're saying he got off rather lightly, in fact, because his team had asked for 6.5 years. So, with time, you're saying with good time, you could get out in 13 years, potentially.
Yes.
All right, do you think the severity of this sentence is meant in part to send a message to the wider cryptocurrency industry?
Yes, I think so. Well, I think the biggest implication for the industry is, especially for those group or entity that holds a lot of customer funds, you need to take every measure, legal measure, technological measure to secure customers' funds. You cannot use customer funds, without any permission. You need to separate customers' funds from other pools of money. If you don't do that, there are going to be serious legal consequences. And of course, there are broader, implications for the whole industry. As you know, the industry is sometimes full of fraud, and the case certainly has a deterrence effect.
And so moving forward, Professor, what do you think needs to be done to help protect consumers? Do we need far more government oversight in the crypto space, which is becoming much more mainstream? Because, some would say it defeats the purpose of why crypto was created, to be a decentralized, a fairer form of finance.
Well, it depends on the goal here. If the goal here is to, let's say, to promote innovation, probably less government intervene will be better. But here, if the goal is to protect consumers, then we definitely need multifaceted approach. And I can list, let's say, 3 or 4 here. The first one is we definitely need a better regulatory framework. First, we need to decide who can or cannot be, let's say, a cryptocurrency exchange or cryptocurrency businesses. Some of the legal requirement right now is quite clear, but some of them are not. So we need clear guidance for the industry to move forward. If we really want to promote innovation, in the meantime, protect consumers, we need better and clear rules. And the second thing is, in order to protect consumers' funds, we need operational and technological safeguards. Operational safeguard, for example, we need better corporate governance. What happened in these cases, they had terrible corporate governance. You can move funds without consumers' permission. In the future, we need to make sure we have better corporate governance. And if you hold a lot of consumers' funds, it's prone to cyber attack. We also need technological safeguard. And the third thing I would say, well, we need more education. And consumers need to raise their awareness. Do your due diligence. It's okay if you still want to invest in cryptocurrency, but make sure that you check out those firms, although sometimes it's not easy since the industry is quite opaque. Last but not least, I think there's a new area, it's called insurance. We need to encourage and mandate insurance for digital assets held by exchanges, held by wallets, similar to how traditional banks deposit are insured. I think this is a new area, and we need to pay more attention to that.
Excellent. And, there are people that say there is too much of an effort to try and rein in cryptocurrency. We've seen the SEC file cases against Binance, and we just learned a case against Coinbase, the largest U.S. cryptocurrency trading platform, that can proceed and move ahead. Cases involving these exchanges allegedly operating as unregistered dealers. It's a big win for the SEC. How do you weigh in on this?
Well, I mean, in terms of cryptocurrency regulation, whether it should be a dealer or whether it should be a cryptocurrency, or whether it should be a securities firms, etc., I would say it's not a win for the SEC because SEC has faced many criticisms, especially for people in this industry for so many years. They're still not clear whether this coin is a security or it's a commodity or it's a combination of both. What kind of rule you need to follow? If you, from industry point of view, SEC still hasn't done a very good job in provide clear guidance to the industry. I wouldn't say that's a win for the SEC.